Today we're celebrating National Adoption Awareness Month, but here we're celebrating with a number of Louisiana families who have adopted children from the foster care system. There are adoption events going on all over the state of Louisiana. Each region for DCFS has had them. A number of our faith-based partners have shared in those celebrations all over the state. We're celebrating the importance of adoption and really trying to raise awareness. Today in Louisiana we have just under 4,000 children who are in foster care and just over 2,000 foster families serving those children. So we're always recruiting new foster families, and particularly those families who think they might want to not only foster but then adopt the children that come into their home.
The children are the most vulnerable element that we have, and these children are growing up without families, without resources, without connections, and everybody needs that. And as they grow up and mature without these, they're going to have a hard time making it in life.
Yesterday, we're having a big old blitz in New Orleans for Adoption Week, and we were at a supermarket and talking to people about adoption. More than half the people thought we were talking about animals. I am not kidding. They're like, I adopted a dog, I adopted a cat. Children didn't even cross their mind. One guy literally came back, and after he saw my card, he says, I need to apologize to you. He said, I thought we were talking about animals. How sad it is to me that people are more aware of the need to adopt animals than they are children. But we need to be the voice for that. It's up to you and me. It's really not going to come from the people higher up. It's going to come from the everyday people when they get to watch our lives and see these children that have so many people tell us, these are not the same two kids that came into your house. They're totally transformed. And there's nothing special about us. It's love. It is love that transforms. The radio announcer said, yeah, those kids come with issues. I'm like, I come with issues. You know, I'm talking to you, you come with issues. A 2-year-old is a 2-year-old. You know, so many things behaviorally are attributed to their foster or adoptive. No, a 13-year-old is a 13-year-old. And so we just need to reteach society. And people love the grassroots effort of you and me. We have been so welcomed. People want to help. They're not looking for the big corporation. They're looking for people helping people. Little boy looks up to mama, sees the pale beauty of her face, and he asks why. He asks why. Little boy goes to his papa. He says, Dad, I'm not like you. Tell me why. Please tell me why. Sit down, son, and I'll tell you a story of a love so unselfish and kind. Your mama did the best that she could do. Though she tried, she couldn't take good care of you. So with a broken heart and tears, she said goodbye. Please tell my baby boy I really tried. Little boy falls to his knees. He says, Papa, I'd like to pray for my mom. Dear Jesus, will you hug her? Let her know that it's from me and that I'm fine. I'm really fine. 'Cause I know that she did all that she could do. Heal her broken heart, Lord. Draw her to you. Let her know that I love her, ease her pain. I pray all this in Jesus' mighty name.
As you know, it's Adoption Awareness Month, when we take time to honor each and every Louisiana family who has opened their homes and hearts to our foster children. From October of 2012 to September of this year, a record 733 children were adopted by adopted. That's right, 733 by 506 families, many of whom are with us here today. This year has not only been a record year for the number of adoptions, it's the fourth highest, a record year over the last 4 years. But what also has been so amazing and so incredible about this year is the number of adoptions that have been entire sibling groups, multiple children adopted into single families during the course of this year. 6 of our families adopted 5 children. 6 families adopted 4 children at one time, and 43 families adopted 3 children each. That is just amazing. It really is. To think that these children will not only be able to grow into their greatest potential with loving parents and in a loving home, and maybe even with new brothers and sisters, but that they get to bring their brothers and sisters with them. That is just amazing. I want to say a special thank you to those of you who did welcome a sibling group into your lives that are here today. I think Anita Brown is here, and Anita adopted 4 children last year. So Anita, thank you very, very much. And if there are others that I don't have the names of, I certainly want to thank you as well. It truly is just great, and I'm just so filled with heartfelt emotion. I also get the opportunity to recognize other stakeholders and other partners who have joined us. And as you listen to Terry and her story about her family and her call to each one of us to never stop raising awareness about the importance of adoption and the importance of being engaged in the lives of young children, I think it's really important, and the folks that we're going to get to recognize today certainly honor that. In no particular order, it's not an order, but I would like to first recognize Healing Place Church in Baton Rouge. Healing Place has assisted DCFS in recruitment efforts for foster and adoptive families since 2010. This past year, they offered their professional photographer services to photograph children that were available for adoption in the Baton Rouge region. And I don't know how many of you had the opportunity to see the Over the Edge adoption event that Louisiana Family Forum sponsored, but because of the Healing Place's work and the photography that they did of our children, we were able to highlight those children at that event here in downtown Baton Rouge this past May. Healing Place has also graciously donated graduation supplies for a number of our foster youth that are graduating from high school. They donate toys at Christmas time. They've offered facilities for events and have continually been just amazing partners with DCFS, showing amazing and unwavering support for our efforts. So thank you to Healing Place Church for your commitment to the well-being of Louisiana's foster and adopted children. Next, I'd like to recognize a young man, Elijah Evans of Youngsville, Louisiana. Elijah is a 15-year-old former foster child who was adopted by his nurse, Lenora Harding. He began his own organization, No Use for Abuse, in 2012 as a school project. No Use for Abuse is dedicated to bringing attention to the impact abuse and neglect have on children and promoting awareness of children in foster care that are available for adoption. Elijah teamed up with his community to raise funds to fulfill the dreams of many foster children. And in December, No Use for Abuse will throw a holiday party and provides gifts and foods and games and activities for foster children in attendance. Elijah recently made a trip to Washington, D.C. to be honored by the Congressional Coalition on Adoption Institute at their annual Angels in Adoptions Award Gala. Thank you for being an advocate for our foster children, Elijah. And at this time, I'd like to present to you the Individual Advocate Award. Next, I'd like to recognize another partner who's been a wonderful partner. KTVE Channel 10 of Monroe has helped with adoptive parent recruitment efforts since February of 2012. Once a month, their morning show segment, Tuesday's Child, showcases a child from the Monroe Region's Heart Gallery. And so, as many of you know, or many of you may have seen children in a Heart Gallery, the Heart Gallery is a great way for us to raise awareness of children that are available for adoption. This ability to participate with KTVE and to be beyond the morning show, raising awareness of the needs of our children, has been a helpful recruitment in child-specific recruitment for the Monroe region. So I'd like to present KTVE with the Media Advocate Award today. Earlier this year, DCFS launched our Faith in Families initiative. Faith in Families has 3 goals: to seek to reduce, to safely reduce the number of children in foster care, to decrease the time kids spend in care, and to ensure that every child has a permanent connection when they leave foster care. The Faith in Families initiative is also based on what we can do as a community with our children. We're working with partners statewide, including faith-based communities, nonprofit communities, other organizations, and mentorship programs. These organizations, just like each of you, can create permanent community connections for our children and to help us recruit foster and adoptive parents. Today, there are currently 3,959 children in Louisiana's foster care program, and they are cared for about 2,000 families, foster families, as well as residential programs. More than 500 of these children are available for adoption right now, and 131 of them are still seeking an adoptive placement, an adoptive family. Today's event has just been amazing. We heard wonderful stories about from Terry, one of our adoptive parents who also fostered children, many children in her home over the years. But what was exciting to me was to see not only her share her story, but to meet her children and to hear their love for their siblings that have been welcomed into their home. It's that kind of story. What we do at the Department of Children and Family Services to raise awareness about adoption is nothing like what it is when you hear it from a real family who's witnessed it, who's participated it. It's just humbling to see that.
I started an organization called No Use for Abuse Incorporated. Basically, what we do, we help to empower and sustain a positive outlook on life, regarding child abuse victims and foster children, and we do that by doing different events out in the community.
This year we had 733 children adopted out of the Louisiana foster care system by just over 500 families, and we still have over 500 children currently that are freed for adoption and that are awaiting an adoptive placement. Over 130 of them still are looking for a long time forever family. We offer the classes again all over the state. What we also have to do for any child, for any home, is we do a home study. We certainly have to look at the families and make sure that their home is ready for children. In the classes we talk about what it is like to welcome children to your home, particularly foster children. A lot of our foster children are reunited with their families, and so that was one of the things that we talked about today too, is that can be difficult but also so joyful to be able to welcome children in your home and then see them be able to go back to their family and be reunited. So those classes will tell you a little bit about those emotions, talk to you about what it is like, how to get the services that you might need for the children that are in your home, and just what to expect. Give you a support system and tell you what to expect, and then of course I'm sure also tease your attention to get you to want to know more and to want to try. And that's the thing I would say, is that foster families are not alone. Adoptive families are not alone, and there is a support system in place that can help families. Again, we've had great outreach from some of our churches who want to be there to help families, all of our families, and to make sure that these kids have the best possible opportunities they can have.
We really go into the heart of what a child goes through when they're separated from their families. Imagine all of a sudden someone shows up at your door that you don't know, and they take you away, and you don't have time to grab your clothes or your stuffed animal. You leave your dog, your parents, and they bring you to a home where you don't know anybody, and they're going to treat you the same or worse. It's pretty traumatic. So we bring the families through that so they can get a taste of what it feels like for the children, and helping to prepare them with some of the emotions. These kids come, for the most part, pretty upset about what's occurred in their life.
Tell me about what it was like to be an adoptive child.
To me, it was a a different experience, but it was positive. I look at it as a positive experience because it took me out of a negative place and put me in a positive place. So I'm glad that I was adopted.
How did you get into being an adoptive parent?
Just felt like it was what I was called to do, and started the classes, and 3 kids later, here I am.
My husband and I always wanted to adopt and didn't really know how, and then we found out about adoption through foster care. And so we took the classes, and the calls started coming immediately. We've had over 40 children in our home that we've fostered.
Well, I actually was a volunteer foster worker for almost 10 years now, and I met 2 young men that a couple of years ago. Fell in love with them, and I'm glad to have them part of my family.
We were foster parents before, and we had her mother, and her mother passed away, so we adopted her.
We had talked about it and felt God had led us to adopt that way. Went to the classes that were offered, and one thing after another, a year later, we adopted.
Do you like having a big sister?
Yes.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
2. That's my little one.
All right. Do you like playing with your big sister?
Yes.
What's been your favorite part about being an adoptive parent?
Oh gosh, the smiles, the mommies. I love when all of my children, but when my adopted children look up to me and say, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy." And just as I see them grow and flourish, when we got our 2 adopted children, both of them were in somewhat rough states. And to watch them grow healthy and confident and interactive with people and successful, at their age levels, it's just been an absolute joy.
Favorite part of being an adoptive parent would be the challenges that it does bring. The challenges are unique, but also rewarding to work through some of those challenges and see how you make a difference in how the child is different a year later.
What's been your favorite part about being an adoptive parent?
The joy on the children's faces. It's a really cool thing.
What kind of difficulties have you had, and how have you dealt with them as a family?
We've had difficulties of just mingling in, becoming a family. We adopted a teenager, so the teenager challenges can always be tough, and then when you add the aspect of that teenager being adopted, it brings on another challenge.
Do you have plans to adopt any more children?
I'm not sure at this time, but I'm looking at 2 more boys. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what the Lord opens up doors and how does He do.
Adoption is definitely a God-called thing. It's challenging, but would definitely recommend it. Would want you to be prepared for what you're getting into, to go through and make sure you know what you're doing, but definitely would recommend adoption.
I encourage everybody, if you can, show love to all these kids because everybody needs a home.
There's so many people that are just not aware of the need that we have as a state. I do not, dismiss anyone's decision or feelings to go elsewhere, but there's such a need in our state, in our own backyards, that people are just not aware of.
I can't imagine our life without our other children. And I can't tell you that it's always easy. It's not. But most things in life that are worthwhile are not the easiest things. So I couldn't recommend it any higher than I do.
There's a lot of children, especially in the state of Louisiana, who need to be adopted. And when you adopt a child, you're basically helping them and showing them that they can be loved and not everything is negative in the world.
A lot of kids out here that needs homes, and they are just lovely kids that want somebody to show them that they need, show them love. And that's all they're asking for.
What would you say to somebody that was considering?
Well, I would just say that if you've got that on your heart, to get more information and to really be open to that, because as we saw today, the joy that these families are feeling, the blessings that they have gotten, and the smiles on the children's faces, it's just something that if you're at all touched or thinking about, I would say get more information and certainly consider it.
What's been your favorite part about today's ceremony?
Well, just the idea of coming down and being a part of this event, seeing all the families who have adopted, it's a wonderful feeling to see people showing love like that.
Favorite part about today was just gathering together at the governor's mansion. It's good to be here. It's good to gather together with other foster families, adoption families, and just celebrate.
seeing the joy on people's faces that get to adopt children.
Favorite part, just seeing all the children and how happy they are and excited to be here.
I love hearing the speaker because you just get another glimpse of someone else's story, and it always makes you teary a little bit, but it's just, everybody has their own, so it just makes it more intimate and special.
What's been your favorite part about today's ceremony?
Seeing the smiles on the parents who have adopted, on the children who have been adopted. I was really moved by that young man, a young man who started an initiative, who he himself was a foster child, and then he took it a step further to make a difference for other foster kids. I think that's pretty amazing.
We're good. We're happy.
Adopt, become a foster parent. We need more.
Take a chance, just do it. The thing I hear most is, I'm afraid that I'm gonna love them, fall in love, and then they're gonna leave. And that does happen when you adopt through foster care, but it's a risk that's worth taking. And if we can make a difference in a child's life, whether it's for a day or for a lifetime, it's worth it.
I would just encourage people who think that it's something they might be interested in doing to go to the DCFS website, get information, call our offices. We can get you in classes, even if you just take the class to see what it's about. It's a great thing to do, and there are always going to be children who need loving homes.
How would somebody get information about how to become an adoptive parent?
We have lots of information on our DCFS website at www.dcfs.la.gov. You can go on that website, you can get information about classes that you would take, what it would take to become a foster parent, as well as we have information about those children that are available for adoption that a family might want to get to know better.